He wasn't in rhythm, and he wants to congratulate Paulie. Paulie fought a great fight, and best to Paulie in his future. You know, and as far as Marquez, it looks like we have a verbal agreement to fight Hatton, but we wish Paulie the best, and you know, Paulie deserves to be in those kind of fights. You know, he really does, and you know, I'm sure that Lou's capable of getting him. If not that caliber fight, you know, maybe something right around there, and he deserves it. So, thank you.
And again, on behalf of Team Malignaggi, Juan Diaz is a class act. You know, the kid, you know, took that controversial fight and immediately got in the ring in a rematch. A lot of guys wouldn't have done that, particularly knowing how difficult the first fight was. So, you know, we respect Juan Diaz. We wish him the best in his future and his career. Any questions, Mike?
First of all, congratulations. It seemed to me like everything came together in the ring tonight. I think it was the best performance of your career. Do you feel the same way? Did everything come together? Is that how it felt?
We had a really good preparation. I feel like I'm getting better every camp with Sharif. You know, the first part of this year was more getting me back to the fighter I was about 3 years ago. You know, up until I fought Miguel Cotto, I didn't have Buddy McGirt training me. And again, I really hate to beat on a dead horse, man. But I'm telling you guys, man. I mean, it was just the worst match for me. You know, and I was a certain kind of fighter before that. I used my legs, a lot of flashy footwork, a lot of speed. And I think the first part of this year was more to get me back to doing what the fighter I had been all my life. You know, so. And I think this camp was for the first time when we actually got to improve, you know. So I feel like I'm improving, and I think I still can improve, you know. And so everything came together tonight, but I think everything can come together a little bit more. I got hit with a couple of clean punches I shouldn't have got hit with. Juan is not a big puncher. He's a very busy guy, and if you're not careful, they'll steal the rounds from you. But, you know, with a bigger puncher, I might pay for those shots I took tonight, you know. So not that I don't have a good chin. I got a pretty good chin, guys, but not that I want to get hit either, you know. So, you know, there's a couple of things we got to work on. Maybe I got to clown a little less, you know. I was having a little too much fun sometimes. But all the respect to Juan.
He definitely has to clown a little less.
You know, Prince Ahmed was one of my favorite fighters growing up. So,
no way.
So a couple of times, the little smirks that I make and stuff like that, I was actually copying him. But regardless, you know, it came together tonight, but it's going to come together more, I believe, until I start getting old. You know, I think I'm a fresh 29. I don't drink. I don't party as much between fights as I used to when I was younger. I think I got a few years to give, and I think it can still come together even sharper, better than it was tonight.
Well, you told me on the phone actually recently that you thought your window of becoming a pound-for-pound fighter might have closed. Do you feel maybe, just maybe, it opened up a little bit tonight?
You know, I hope so, man. You know, pound-for-pound list is more subjective and a lot of people's opinions. That's why I wanted Marquez, but, you know, he's number 5 on most people's pound-for-pound. I think the Ring magazine had him at number 5, so I thought it would give me a big boost if I could beat a guy like that. But, you know, regardless, the problem I have, you know, I try to make people understand, don't look at my 2008, you know, try to erase it from the record because you'll never see that fight, and you'll never see that fighter again. You didn't see him beforehand, before 2008. You'll never see him again, ever again. But you can't erase history. People will always throw that in my face. You know, I've seen articles on the internet reassessing Ricky Hatton or something like, oh, this is the same fighter that dominated Paulie Malignaggi who looks really good now, you know. Ricky Hatton didn't dominate the same Paulie Malignaggi, you know what I'm saying? Or I'll look at it the opposite way. Hatton, let's reassess Hatton's comeback. He fought a light puncher like Malignaggi and he beat that guy, but that wasn't much of a win looking back now because what kind of puncher is Malignaggi? Had nothing to do with the punching power. I would have dominated Hatton had I fought like I have the past couple of months, you know? And I'm going to get better. Like, I don't think I'm going to get Hatton. Obviously, Mr. Gomez was saying that you know, they have a verbal agreement with Marquez and Hatton. All the best to those guys. It's nothing mean against Hatton. I actually respect him a lot, him and his guys and his team and everything. It's just as a competitor, I want a chance to avenge that. But, hey, things happen. Regardless, I think, like I said before, I mean, we'll just get better and better. And, you know, it's a subjective. The pound-for-pound list is subjective. I don't think everybody, especially the haters and the critics, they'll never let me swallow the 2008 I had. I can yell, scream, and cry about it all I want, saying, yo, don't look at my 2008.
Let him swallow this.
But I'm telling you, I'm not the same fighter. I'm really not.
After what happened in August, how does this feel now to get revenge, basically?
I feel a little bit vindicated, you know? Juan is such a cool dude, man.
To the HBO commentators during the fight, what were you saying?
The first fight is a big misconception. The whole theatrics of the whole first fight were Malignaggi landed the sharper shots, but Diaz landed the harder punches. Diaz was blocking most of Malignaggi's punches. The guys that thought Diaz wanted the fight, obviously, it was competitive because of that. Listen, just because I don't keep my hands up like a statue, like I'm in the amateurs, don't mean my punches ain't getting through. We wear 8-ounce gloves, so if the punches are, if the guy just holds his head like this and he doesn't move his head, punches are getting through. That's why he was cut up in the first fight, and that's why he got cut up tonight. So he threw a couple of hard hooks in that round. Right at that moment, I caught them both with my right hand. I caught one and I stood my ground instead of backing off because I knew I'd caught it. And then he threw another one and I caught it again. And I was looking at the HBO guys and I said, count your blocks. Don't count those. Don't count. I'm blocking those. You guys want to count blocks? Count my blocks. Just because both my hands ain't up don't mean I'm not blocking them. So Max looked at me like he was confused. So I had to run over there and tell him. You know. So that's basically what I did. You know, it's a little. I don't know. Maybe sometimes I'm too much. I'm clowning around, but I was having a good time. It wasn't. It's not a disrespect to the guys. I just get caught up in the moment sometimes.
Paulie, congratulations.
Thanks.
Now that Hatton has a verbal agreement with Marquez, there's been talk about you fighting Khan. How do you feel about that, or is that a question for Lou?
You know, I'm open to all fights. I'm open to all big fights. You know, the window is opened up again for me. You know, and so I think you can mention my name with probably any junior welterweight in the world, and I think people will think it'll be a good fight. Whether you think I'll win or lose it is strictly an opinion, people's opinion. But I think you can at least mention my name with the elite again. I think you can mention my name as an elite fighter again. And so, you know, the options are open, and definitely Amir Khan is one of them. I think the English fans were really cool, you know, when I fought in England last year. And, you know, I would fight a British fighter again. It's all good.
You know, Paulie's going to be interested in the money. I mean, he's 29 years old. He's got to earn a living, and he's got to support his family, and that's what it's about. Amir Khan's a big money fight. And, you know, Amir Khan needs to break into the U.S. market, so if he wants a piece of this, we're available.
How is it making weight? Is that a struggle at this point?
You know, I've been a junior welterweight since May 2002, so it doesn't get easier. I was 21 years old in May 2002. I just turned 29 now, so it doesn't get easier, but I can make 140. I made 38.5 yesterday, but you start taking me the